That's the most like out of the box adventurous voice I do. And he's also one of my favorite characters.
Your first ever con?
Yes, Ikkicon, very exciting. I've been having such a fun time, and there's just been a lot of good like interaction with people about these shows I've worked on or acted in or written or something. It's been very like reassuring that people are watching these shows and people are liking these shows and they're having some kind of impact on people. So that's been amazing so far. Just like see that, because sometimes you can feel like you're putting art into the void, you know? But it's really good to see fans of the shows.
What is the thing that everybody is coming to you and talking to you about? What are the things that they're
the show that most people are recognizing me from is Shiki Mori from Shiki Mori is Not Just a Cutie, which has made me so excited because you know those like 12 episode animes, they come out every season, and especially like a romance or a rom-com, it doesn't get the traction that like an Attack on Titan or something gets, you know. But it's been really sweet to see how this story has made so many people like smile, and how people love my performance as Shiki Mori, which was one that I'm super proud of because that character is just so unique. So that's definitely been my biggest, my print that's been selling the most and the one people want to talk about. So that's been it's felt really nice to have that.
Is there anything about that character that you resonate with?
I love how like loyal and protective she is over the person she loves, and like her friends too and stuff. I just think I'm very much like, you could say anything mean about me, but don't say anything mean about my friends, you know? So I relate to that protectiveness that she has. It's really sweet, and she does it in such a cute way. Like, I just love her.
So out of all the roles that you've played so far, what was the one you think is more different to you and actually maybe was a bit of a challenge to play?
The role that the voice is the most different is definitely Emil from Spy Family. That's the most like out of the box adventurous voice I do. And he's also one of my favorite characters because he's like a little brat boy with his buck teeth and his bowl cut, and I just adore him, and I have so much fun playing that character. So he's definitely the one that's the most different from me, but he's also one of my very, very favorites. So he's really fun.
Like two sides of a different coin.
Exactly. I can be Shiki Mori or Emil, and I can relate to both of them. Sometimes you gotta be a bucktooth brat. I know I was when I was a kid on occasion, so.
Well, speaking of which, like, you have a sibling that's really into anime as well.
Yes,
too.
I have my little brother. He doesn't quite think I'm cool, you know, because like how could he? But he's been watching more and more of my shows and stuff, especially he's watching Frieren right now. And he's like, when are you writing the next episode? So that's kind of fun. But that's made me happy. And he loves One Piece. So we've gotten to like bond over that. And he's like dragged my dad down the One Piece train too. So that's been a fun thing.
So yeah, you do a lot of writing, not just on anime, you don't just voice act, you write, but you also do some creative writing on the side. Tell us about that.
I certainly try to. I know in college I went to college for a BFA in theater performance, and I got there, and obviously I love acting, still do it all the time. But I took classes in playwriting, and they kind of changed everything. Because I just fell in love with this form. I had done a lot of improv, so a lot of that was similar in that you're building stories, you're building characters. So it's like writing to me is like improv plus time and more thought, and I really love that aspect of it. Just getting to build something out of nothing is so exciting. So I try to do all the creative writing I can too on my own.
Well, and so what is your favorite type of stories to tell?
I love simple stories, and I love stories about friends, and I just think there's so much about the human experience that you can tell through a quiet room with two people in it just talking. So those are my favorite kind of stories, is just small, intimate, just very personal stories where you can see more about the relationship than anything else going on. That's my favorite kind of plays.
Well, I mean, you have a pretty broad range of interest as far as in the nerddom sphere. I mean, tell us about some of the things that you really enjoy.
Well, I love anime, obviously. My favorite show ever is Clannad, which is just the best. And that's kind of what I mean, like, those stories about relationships are just my very favorite, like, just the human experience and stuff. So I love Clannad. I love video games. I'm horrible at most of them, so that's okay though. But I love Skyrim. That's my very favorite video game ever of all time. I've played like so many different like characters and so many different times. So those are definitely like my two favorite properties are Skyrim and Clannad. Pretty different, but I love them both. And I think Frieren kind of has aspects of both of them, so that's kind of cool. Just thinking about that out loud.
Frieren and Skyrim. That would be an interesting concept. Maybe somebody make a mod.
Yeah, come on, people. I need
Put
this.
it out there. So I also see something very interesting. The lighting here is pretty good, so I can see a very nice sparkle coming from your finger. What is that all about? I heard some exciting news.
Yes, I got engaged in October, so I've been a fiance for a while now. So that's been really fun, and my mom and I are planning like the wedding and doing all the dress shopping and thinking about colors and shoes and all sorts of stuff. So that's been obviously just like so much fun.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. My fiance I met him in theater school too. So we have a very similar, like, we love all the same stuff and all the same stories and nerdy stuff too. So that's been he's awesome.
Well, so let me go back in time just a little bit. When you first got started, we talked about your brother and his impression of you in anime. How did your peers, I mean, you were really young. You were still in high school?
My first job was on the video game Smite. And I was a junior in high school when I got it. And everyone was just like so excited for me. I remember I found out about getting cast at, we were doing a rehearsal for our like one act play, which is like the big Texas school like UIL play competition. So I found out I was cast and everyone was just like so happy for me. And I was just overjoyed because I had done so many auditions for Smite, I think, like for that game. And I finally got one. I was just like over the moon. I was so excited. So that was my very first job.
So I heard a story about when you went in for auditions. They had like a book of different characters that you would try to do the voices for. Mm-hmm. How was that?
That was for those when I was auditioning at Funimation for the first time. Yeah, I went in and the director was so kind because she had one of the producers come out and get me and she's like, "You're Macy, right?" Because I'm 17 at this point and I look like a child. And the producer was so nice and she's like, "Okay, here's the characters, like pick who you want to read for." And then she took me like, I think it was probably her office in retrospect, which is so nice, and gave me this like little private place to like practice my voices out loud. And I think because I was so young, people just were really nice to me and like took very good care of me. But getting that book with characters in it was kind of like, that's a hard choice to make like on the fly like that. Like, which one do I read for? It's kind of fun as just like somebody who loves improv and stuff like that too, though. It's like, it kind of fuels that like, oh, like on the spot, on the fly decisions can be fun.
Anything that stuck out to you that you remember?
The first show that I read for like that was called Silver Guardian. It was an anime. Gosh, I don't know how many years ago that was now. Maybe like 7 or 8 at this point. But it was cool, and I just loved anime, and I just loved Funimation, and I just was so shocked when I found out I lived in the same city as Funimation, which was just like kind of what started this whole thing off. It's like when I realized that, I was like, oh, this just changes the game. I gotta get into this. But yeah, I remember reading for the characters, and the director called me in to do one of the classmates that was just like around the school and stuff. It was just a really good first role because I got to see I got to do like wall sessions with multiple actors. I got to meet other actors. I got to see all the lead actors like sound so amazing in their roles. It was just an awesome first experience. And from there, it just kind of opened up the door for more like, oh, do you want to be in this walla? Do you want to do these little characters? And it just kept growing and growing. And it was such an exciting time. Like I look back on all of those parts just like so fondly because they didn't have names, you know. It's like student 1A, female student, whatever. But they were like so, like I was so grateful. Felt so special and happy. And those are just some of my favorite memories, or those first characters were so fun.
So, if I may, let's talk about hobbies you have. Is there any hobbies that maybe people might be surprised that you're really into?
I don't know about surprised. I love baking. So that's one of my like de-stress hobbies. It's like I love making cookies and I love doing birthday cakes. So whenever it's one of my friends or family birthday, I always like ask in advance what kind of cake they want so I can, you know, craft the perfect birthday cake. So that's one of my favorite like hobbies. I really like drawing too. I'm trying to get better at it. I did art as a kid growing up, and then I took a big pause from like visual art stuff. And I'm trying to get back into it, but I have a lot of fun with that. Just like I like creating things, whether it's a cake or a little picture or whatever.
It's multifaceted, actually. So, where to now? What do you think is the thing that you really would like to see yourself do in the next few years? Is there like any franchises or roles that you would like to take on, or just any thoughts you have about the future direction that you'd like?
Yeah, I think with acting it can be so hard because it's hard to assert yourself and be like, I want to be this thing, because ultimately it can't be your decision. So I think for me, the thing I want to do the most is just do more of my creative writing and start creating more of my own things that I can have, like, I don't have to rely on like getting cast or rely on getting booked for that thing. Like I can just have personal fulfillment in the things that I create will be my ultimate goal, and hopefully create some cool stuff.
We'll be looking forward to it. I mean,
yeah.
Definitely put it out there. Keep us informed about these exciting new things that you're heading into, these new endeavors, because I'm sure that a lot of fans will be stoked to hear about it and support you fully.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been incredible talking to you. And that's it, folks.
Awesome. Yay, this was so fun. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching Anime Diet. Be sure to smash that like and subscribe button for more tasty treats.